everybody, it's your boy the Kryptonian saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 655. And I gotta say, man, like that ending page is just so beautiful, man. That is just so beautiful. I love that shot of the Straw Hats staring face to face against this huge dragon. And I didn't even know dragons existed. No shit, wait a second, dragons do exist because the One Piece filler arc, man. Like, I'm so far behind on One Piece anime. Like, I'm just past. They did the filler arc with that dragon. A very bad filler arc, by the way. There was some good, enjoyable moments in it, but I felt like it dragged on too long. And I'm currently in Alabasta in the anime, but this is what's interesting, right? This is what's really interesting is now we have dragons in the manga. This is pretty cool, man. This is really cool, but you got this really awesome shot at the end, and I'm going to show this at the risk of, copyright strike, but look at this shot of the Straw Hat staring down at this dragon. That is absolutely beautiful, man. I like how when you just look at that shot, the way that it's almost shown, it's like if you do film, right? You have like your different film angles, and one of the things you do is you have the camera pointed up at an angle to make one thing appear bigger, and it's really good. It's really good. It's been a while since I've taken film class. Shit, I think I took film last when I was in high school, actually. So this is cool, just to kind of see how Oda kind of drew things in that way, and just the level of attention to detail in that one shot. Like, if that had to be the money shot for the chapter, that is it. That is absolutely it. And it fits into what Nami was saying when she said, I don't understand what's going on here. The one side of the island looks like it's very cold. Why does it look that way? The pattern doesn't look the same. And it's because she studied the weather and the currents and everything when she was on Weatheria. So she would be the one to notice that, okay? And at the same time, it's just like, why didn't you catch that sooner? You could have kept your crew out of trouble. But hey, like when it comes to Straw Hats, the road for adventure is the path you're going to take. And it explains why Punk Hazard is uninhibitable at this point, because there's a fucking dragon there. So there's probably some treasure on that island if you follow the mythology with the dragons, which Oda's probably going to do. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting that, Oda just decided to kind of go this route. That's really interesting. Now, the other thing that I found very interesting is I knew Smoker had gotten some type of promotion if Tashigi was going to be the captain. But, Smoker is the G5 Vice Admiral. So it's just like Smoker, just like Luffy. I think that's going to be the Roger and Garp thing. I think that's how they're kind of going to be built up. Smoker's going to be chasing Luffy all around the New World, and when we look back and tell the story of Monkey D. Luffy, we're also going to be telling the story of Smoker. And I thought that was pretty interesting how that parallel appears to be there. For a second, very brief, I thought maybe it'd be Akainu, but Akainu's story is still in the process of being written, but he's so far up the food chain, it doesn't make sense to parallel him and Luffy. I think he'll be somebody Luffy overcomes. But Smoker, just as Luffy's gotten more prominent, Smoker's risen up too. So I like that. It's almost like the Naruto and Sasuke thing, where one gets that development and then the other one kind of raises up. And I mean, that's pretty cool. I think Oda's building something there. Now, the other thing that I think is being built up is the whole thing with Wano. Because at first, I was like, I remember this name somewhere, okay? Because Zoro's just like, I've heard that before. And that's when it hit me, like, I remember reading that name somewhere. And this is what's interesting. We find out that's like where the samurais are. Apparently there's a samurai on Punk Hazard somewhere. And what you got in this chapter is we get this backstory about how the samurai on Wano are so powerful that even the world government won't mess with them. That nation is just closed off borders. And it kind of reminds me of what is going on in the Naruto epilogue novels and the Shikamaru Hiden. I know a lot of you guys are One Piece only, so you don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to kind of dive into this a little bit. In the epilogue novels that came out in 2015, 2015 to 16 for Naruto, right? Like, so Naruto ended in 2014. They continued the story with some movies and a spin-off manga and with the epilogue novels, and it was all released as part of the Naruto New Era project, and it was a way of doing canon releases for the story. And what I found interesting is when you look at that, I'm wondering, because Kishimoto had some supervision in those novels, I'm wondering if the idea for the Land of Silence wasn't taken from Wano. Because when you look at that, the Land of Silence is completely cut off from all the other nations, and a feudal lord practices isolationism, and they're building up as a threat. And when you look at Wano, I think Wano is already a threat, but clearly the Straw Hats aren't ready to go there. They got two swordsmen on the crew now. They got Brook and they got Zoro. But here's the thing, like when Zoro says it, he says, I remember hearing that. So I'm thinking more than likely Mihawk said something in passing to Zoro. Now, with me, the reason why I said I think I remember this is I remember Ace when you had Oris Jr. And Oris Jr. had that hat being made for him by Ace. One of the things that, Ace, in his flashback, I think Ace made a hat somewhere at Wano. So at some point, Ace has gone to Wano. Because I remember reading that in Marineford. So that's interesting. Luffy is on an island that is burning up. Luffy's on an island just burning up, and there's fire everywhere. Ace was Fire Fist Ace. You have the Gear 2 Flame Fist pistol Red Hawk that is in the in the last volume on Fishman Island. Like, that's Luffy's attack that finishes off Holy Jones. Now he's on this island covered in heat. We're hearing mention of Wano. Ace went to Wano. Luffy's getting that devil fruit that Ace had. That flame fruit. He's gonna get that. And the reason why I think so is, again, I mean, like, it kind of feels like you got some foreshadowing there because too many small things are kind of lining up. And the other thing on that is, I mean, it just feels like something Oda would do. It'll feel like something Oda's doing, man. And anyway, just kind of, backtracking into that. What I also liked about this chapter is how when Smoker is talking, one of the things Smoker says is, like, I would have thought for sure there are three options that the Straw Hat could have taken. I would have definitely thought he'd have taken this island here. And while all this is going on, Tashigi's trying to tell her, man, don't you bully and torture the pirates. And it's just like the Navy on the G5 side on some other shit. But at the same time, I'm wondering, okay, how much of this is because Akainu is Fleet Admiral now? Because that feels like something Akainu would do. Because he's that military and rule type personality. Like, with him, there was no ifs and buts about it. Like, Kizaru was just like, super chill. Kizaru looked like he, smoked a few blunts. Aokiji definitely looked like he smoked a few blunts. But it's just like, Akainu looks like the drug dealer. Akainu looks like the dude you just go to because you're trying to get like a couple of ounces or something. Like, that's how Kainu's looking. And he just had that serious look about him. When it came to Luffy, he was like, look, if I got to punch through Jinbe in order to get Luffy, I'll do it. And, like, no ifs and buts about it. Like, when he saw Ace, he said, oh shit, he's about to escape. And he just kept picking at him, and then bam! He took advantage of his pride and he punched himself through him, and Ace found out what it's like to have another man inside of you. So I like how, once again here, Smoker had the right idea for Luffy, because if I'm not mistaken, that's the island Luffy is going to try and go to. But what's also interesting about this is Nico Robin was absolutely right. She warned Luffy at the beginning of the chapter, right? She warned him. She said, don't pick up that transponder snail. The Navy could be setting a trap. And it never even crossed my mind that the Navy would actually do something like this. But given the fact that Nami did wiretap them at one point, if Nami can think to do something with all those brilliant minds that are in the Navy at some point, you're going to have brilliant minds there. It just is what it is. And so, with all those brilliant minds there somewhere, someone said, yeah, we could be wiretapping transponder snails. So it just makes absolute sense. Because when that snail was crying, I was like, damn, is it really that hot? To where the snail's crying. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, fish are just being fried in the ocean to just straight bone. So it's just showing you how hot it is, right? And what I thought was interesting about that is when the guy's talking, he's talking about how cold it is and the samurai. It's just like, how the fuck is it cold and all the seas are on fire? How far do I have to travel? So Punk Hazard has me interested. But the other thing that I found interesting about that is, Luffy, he just picks it up with no chill and says, yeah, this is Straw Hat Luffy, future king of the pirates. How can I help you? And it's just like, just announce the whole world where the fuck you're at. But again, it never crossed my mind that the Navy could actually be listening in, and Nico Robin is right. And I think this shows something here, right? I've always talked about how with the Straw Hats, I feel like their purpose is to save Luffy from himself, and Luffy's the type to get off track for a little bit. And what I find really interesting about all of this is the fact that Nico Robin, for as long as she was on the run, and she spent most of her life going from criminal organization to organization, being betrayed by people, by civilians because she had a bounty, and once they figured out, Nico Robin, and that one scene that really stood out to me was how she had this elderly couple that she was living with, and it looked like she might have actually found a home, and she was cooking for them, or not cooking, but cleaning for them and everything, and it was being, pulling her weight. And all of a sudden, they betrayed her, and she knew something was up and snuck the fuck out before the Navy got there. And it's just like the girl got survival instincts. She knew what was going on. I think going into the new world, Nico Robin's going to have a bigger role than what we saw when she was first brought onto the crew. I think if they're going to survive, the two people they got to listen to. And I'm not even trolling with this, but I'm not even trolling. At this point, you've got to listen to Nami when it comes to navigation. You can't do this random shit like Luffy wants to do. You gotta listen for navigation because she knows how to get herself through all these seas, and she's got great instincts when it comes to just being on the ocean. And on the other side, you really have to listen to Nico Robin, because before anything else, like all the shit with the Poneglyphs aside, right? When it comes to Nico Robin, she's got something that all the other Straw Hats don't have. She knows what it's like to survive. She's got those instincts. Like Nami did it to an extent when it comes to being in all along or whatnot, and getting herself in some dangerous situations. And I like when early on in the One Piece series, like when they were building up towards the reveal of Nami, where you had her kind of robbing pirates and everything. That shit wasn't in the manga. In the manga, it just opened straight up with Romance Dawn and everything, with Shanks losing his arm, and you didn't get Nami until you got to the Buggy the Clown reveal. So the whole thing with that is like she knows but she doesn't know. Zoro, he was a pirate hunter. You might know things about getting out of sticky situations, but some of that is shit that you can dictate. Luffy, I ain't gonna talk about Luffy. Luffy's a big idiot. And I ain't even saying that to throw shade. Like Luffy, it's just sheer luck he gets out of some situations he's in. Usopp was playing fairy tales and all of this shit, telling stories to Kaya, and doing the shit with his mom, trying to tell her stories in order to keep her healthy and all that, and saying dad's coming back and all this other shit. So Usopp don't understand Chopper. Chopper is just fucking sheltered. He's still learning what it means to kind of live out on the life. Frankie might know a thing or two, but Frankie's a big ass goofball, so you throw him out. Sanji, okay, so Sanji was on a fucking island. Zeph ate his foot. Sanji was going through a major fast. Sanji don't know that struggle. Brook, maybe, but at the same time, it's just like my dude was playing music and everybody died on him. Tragic story, whatever. Nico Robin's the one that knows, like, danger's coming. I know how to avoid it. Let's get around. So I think that those are probably the two most important when it comes to non-combat. I think, like, if you look at it from a Metal Gear Solid perspective, what you have is, like, Nami is the actual Soliton radar, right? Like, that's what you use to kind of figure out who's in position. And this is before they did away with it, I think, in Metal Gear Solid 3 and definitely Metal Gear Solid 4. But the Soliton radar in the first two Metal Gear Solid games, it showed you where the people were, and it gave you a brief idea of what the actual layout looked like, and you use that to kind of navigate. That's Nami. The alert menus and everything were red alert, yellow, like yellow being caution, all that, like that's Nico Robin. Like, when that shit turns yellow, you listen to it. When it turns red, you listen to it because she's going to tell you how to avoid it. So I like how those two are being brought up. And I also thought it was pretty cool how, Nami can create the clouds like how we saw in Sky P.S. That's a nice little throwback to what we got, in the first part of the series. I thought that was pretty interesting. And I also thought it was pretty interesting how, when Sanji's trying to tell Luffy, like, hey, we can't really use these fish we got, it just shows you how hot the situation that they're in is. So my chapter question to you guys is, what were your thoughts about not only Smoker saying he thought that Luffy would go to a particular island, so it shows that, Smoker is very in tune with Luffy, but also, what are your thoughts on just the dragon popping up? And how excited were you when you got to the Punk Hazard part of the story? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys.